Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. And for this particular video, kindly just type the name of your constituency. You might find your constituents right here. Ladies and gentlemen, fireworks is expected in Olkalau today during the burial of the late MP David Kierao. William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua will be meeting for the first time since Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. And Rigathi Gachagua spent the better part of yesterday in Olkalau. As a matter of fact, at night he was together with the family of the late MP.
We actually thought utakuja wewe, ndio maana nikapigia Mheshimiwa Maina Kamanda usikue peke yako. Sasa nilikuwa nadhani mimi na wewe na Mheshimiwa Maina Kamanda na familia. Watu wa Itura wakati walisikia unakuja hapa saa 5 watu walikuwa wamefika hapa. Hata Dr. Kerawa alikuja hapa alikuta watu wamejaa hapa kwao. Na wamekugoja hapa hata waliposikia unachelewa wakasema hata ufike saa 2, saa 3, saa 4, saa 5 watakuwa hapa wanakugoja. Kwa hivyo hii ni watu yako wote na wamefurahi sana kuja kuungana na wewe. So all this, by the way, we didn't have a service today. Tulikuwa tumesema leo ni siku ya kupumzika. Hata watu wa Itura walikuwa wamesema leo ni siku ya kupumzika. Hata watu wa familia wakasema leo ni siku ya kupumzika. Kwa hivyo vile umeona tumekuja tukiwa wachache, leo ni siku ya kupumzika. Siku ile utakuja sasa utakuwa tuko watu wengi sana na tutakupokea kwa nguvu sana kwa sababu this is your place na tunashukuru sana. Kwa hivyo usikue na wasiwasi. Na nikikwambia hivyo ujue mimi ndio senator wa hapa.
His allies, Rigathi Gachagua's allies, were at the venue ensuring that his seat is actually reserved. But the question is, will Rigathi Gachagua be given a chance to speak in the presence of the president, considering the fact that he was impeached?
So you people have put Ruto in a difficult situation he is in. Don't put him in more complicated situation by advising him that he can come to Nyandarua ati akatase medho kusalimia wananchi. Don't. Don't mislead Ruto that he can come to Nyandarua ati akatase Rigiji kusugumuza. Don't, because watu ya Nyandarua ni watu ya amani. Tunakuuliza president ukuje, tunakuheshimu na tutakuheshimu. Na hatuna shida na wewe. Shida yetu na wewe tutatatua mwaka ujao. But for now, utapata heshima yako kama rais wa jamhuri. Kuja waboleza na sisi utuongeleshe. Lakini ukifuata ile advice nasikia unapewa na hawa wabunge ati wataleta watu kutoka wapi na wapi. Hiyo watu yote wanaletwa ni wafuasi wangu. Ni wafuasi wa Medho. Na wanatupigia simu wanasema wanafurahi kuja kutuona. This is our supporters. And what ni mzuri William Ruto ajue. Alinitoa kwa ofisi, lakini hakunitoa kwa roho ya watu ya Nyandarua. Hiyo ajue.
Ladies and gentlemen, my sources are telling me that school buses are already heading to the venue. And one of my sources is not sure who is transporting them. But the other one told me that from what they are seeing, most of those people being transported are being sponsored by allies of the president. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to witness fireworks. And there's something which has also happened. The program was released yesterday. And from that program, it is clear that the state has taken charge of that funeral. And in that program, I've not seen where Rigathi Gachagua will be speaking, which means there could be deliberate strategy to lock Rigathi Gachagua out of the program. But will it happen? Let me just take you through the program of the day here. I'm not so sure whether this is authentic, but I've always told you that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. In most cases, even if it's not true, then someone who produced it with an objective. It says program Wednesday 8th, Requiem Mass at Olkalau Stadium in Nyandarua County. And main celebrant, Master of Ceremony, 9 a.m. arrival at Lee Funeral Home, 9 a.m. departure from Lee Funeral Home, 10:30 a.m. arrival at Olkalau Stadium in Nyandarua County. Then from 11, this is the most critical part. They are saying there's going to be opening prayer, then welcoming remarks, then congregational song, interlude, choir or band, then there's going to be eulogy, then tributes, friends, brothers, sisters, colleagues. This is MPs. Then they are going to have children and then a wife. That's tribute. And here you can see colleagues, which means selected MPs will be able to speak at this point. So let us agree that up to this point, we've not seen Rigathi Gachagua anywhere. Then speeches now. We are going to have a speech from the family, then local leadership. What I'm not so sure about is whether Rigathi Gachagua is part of the local leadership. Because if he's part of the local leadership, then this is where he's going to speak. Right? And after that now, we are talking of the leadership of parliament. Now that's a different now leadership. So if Rigathi Gachagua will not speak up to this stage of local leadership, I suspect the local Senator Methu, who is a close ally of Rigathi Gachagua, might decide to sneak him in at this stage. Then here, after the parliamentary leadership, of course, this is normally the norm. In parliament, there's normally the minority leader, minority leader, Senate, National Assembly, majority leader, Senate, National Assembly. In most cases, the majority leader in the Senate will introduce the senators present. The majority leader in the National Assembly will ask the members of parliament present to just wave. That's normally the norm. So up to that stage, there's no Rigathi. Then we are going to have the governor, who is then going to invite the prime cabinet secretary, who is then going to invite the Speaker of the Senate and then the Speaker of the National Assembly, who is then going to invite the Deputy President. So the impeached Deputy President is nowhere here. The Deputy President will then invite the President, and then people will leave. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think Rigathi Gachagua will be allowed to speak? I don't know how the organizers are going to maneuver it. Because just like I explained in my previous video, this death is going to cause a by-election. And that by-election is going to determine the fate of President Ruto in the mountain. The biggest question, will Rigathi Gachagua be allowed to speak, considering that he is impeached? And if he's allowed to speak, will he be allowed to speak in his capacity as a former deputy president or as the leader of DCP? Yeah? Then how will William Ruto be received? Because that's another important thing. And I know, the William Ruto I know has ensured that the ground is well mobilized. How will he be received? I know for sure that what they have done is probably they've hired people And these guys will be at the front seats. They'll take the front seats. By the time the locals will be coming, it will be late. This is something which happened during the burial of the late Ogola. Yeah? When Ogola died, you know, Raila and Ruto had started working together, yeah, but still not publicly. So there was still tension. Raila decided not to attend the burial. Instead, he sent Oburu Odinga. But something happened there. By the time the locals were arriving, tents were full. People had been ferried from all over at night. So they woke up at the stage. That's exactly what's going to happen here. What I don't know is if these guys are mobilized against Rigathi, how will Uhuru Kenyatta be received? Because that's also very important politically for the mountain. And lastly, what will be the tone of their messages? If Ruto is given the microphone, what will he tell the mountain? And how will the crowd react to the president? If Uhuru Kenyatta will be given a chance to speak, what will be his tone? Because already the political gears have shifted. They are now in high gear. So let us wait and see how this thing is going to turn out. Until that time, this is Makwiny, baby.